Welcome to Real People, Real Life, where everyday conversations lead to extraordinary insights. We're all about digging into the lives of regular people who've achieved success on their own terms. From business and entrepreneurship to fitness, politics, education, and beyond, we cover it all. This is Real People, Real Life. And now your host, Ryan Chereau.
Welcome, Real People, Real Life.
Hi, thank you.
Daniela, want to introduce everybody to who you are, where you're from?
Yes, so I'm Daniela Duran and I'm from Colombia. I am 23 years old and I'm studying in San Diego University, law school. And yeah, I'm doing another LLM.
So you're from Colombia?
Yes, I am.
Are you from Bogota?
No.
No, okay. It's the only place I know in Colombia.
No, I'm from Bucaramanga.
How do you say?
Bucaramanga.
Bucaramanga.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Excellent. So is this a big town, city?
It's a really small city.
It's
I really like
city.
it though. Yeah.
Okay, and you grew up there your whole life?
My whole life.
Your whole life.
Yeah.
So tell me, like, growing up in Bucaramanga.
Yes. Okay, so I really think that it was a very good experience in my life, living in Bucaramanga, because although there is a very small population over there, there is...
Go ahead and just pull that mic just a little bit up. There you go. You're good.
So there was always good people that I find over there. So I think it was really nice, and my family and my friends, they were always close to me. Mm-hmm. So it was very good.
So speaking of family, so tell us about your family.
So my family is composed by my father, my mother, and two brothers.
Okay.
One of them is my twin.
Ooh, twin brother.
Yeah.
Does he look just like you?
People say that they look more. He looks more than my brother, my older brother. He doesn't look like me at all. Mm-hmm. He's like very different and
paternal twins, as they say.
Yeah, paternal twins, and so that's my family, and they have really been for me all the time, and from ever since I have my memories. With them, they always been with me. So my family, not just my nuclear family, because I have a really big family with my aunts and my cousins. We are very close. This is very important in Colombia. Mm-hmm. We are a very close family. And for example, there's some difference that I find in here. That, for example, the young people, they just finish high school and then they go to other places to study, but we don't do that. We kind of like stay until 25 years old or 28 years old. That's kind of crazy, but at the same time, it means that we are really close family.
So that's pretty typical in Colombia. The kids would stay through their education all the way to 25, 28.
Yes.
The education system there, what does that look? Is it same as America where you kindergarten through 12th, and then how does that work?
So it's kind of different because, we just have until 11th grade, mm-hmm. but now they're making some kind of changes with new schools that they've been going there. And normally we have just until 11th grade, but in high school it's from 6th grade until 11th.
Okay.
Yes.
So they combine in America. It's middle school and then high school, but they seem to combine all of that. Then.
Yeah, we don't have middle. We don't have
Okay.
We don't have that division there.
And just typical subjects. What's your studies as growing up as a kid?
Yeah, there's. I think the typical. I don't know in here, but it's like Spanish, English. Science, social studies. It's kind of like,
So basically,
it's
the basics, all of the actual academic topics. So English, you speak English well. Is this something that is a requirement in Colombia or specifically in the school system you went to?
Well, I all the schools they require to have English, but it depends on the school if it is more focused on English or other subject. Because there's been schools that are more focused on math or even science, but in my school it was focused just on English. So yeah, I just have my English from my school. I didn't take it in university.
What age do they start teaching English?
Probably, I don't remember very well, but since I just got there, 3 years old, I remember.
So you're already learning. So that's something we don't see here in America. Usually they start what we call electives, and that usually starts in high school.
Oh yeah, that's pretty far.
Yeah, and they require, some schools require 1 year, some require 2, specifically if you're going to college. But there's not an emphasis at all in America to learn other languages.
Okay.
But it just doesn't happen. And once you finish your core education, what's the expectation as a society for you to continue your education?
Well, now people, they expect to continue even more beyond that, the master specialization that you can do, because there's always more competence. Because there's always more competition, in society for us to get into new jobs, to get into new experiences that can certify you as a professional to enter in a good business or in a good field.
You go through 11th grade.
Yeah.
And then what is the mechanism for further education? Is it a continuation of the same school system, or is it colleges? Is it separate from the main school system?
Okay, yeah. So we don't have that type of thing, colleges, but we do have something that can be similar to it, and it's study a technician career. So it's not that complicated or too extensive the time that you have to be in there, because it's kind of like 2 years or 3 years. The other thing is that university, that you can go straight to the university graduating from high school. And yes, you can go to university, or either you can do a technician career that is not that expensive and it's not that long.
So define technician career versus university.
Yeah, it could be.
What would be technician career versus something you would learn in university?
So it could be like electrician.
Okay.
That could be a technician, but not a university study, because university study, it's more like the professional careers that we see, and medicine, study to be a lawyer, engineer, those types of careers, you see it in there.
So in America, we would call the technician's path trades, or the skilled trades.
Okay.
And then university would be similar to what you're talking about. What's interesting, and we're starting to see the effects here in America, actually for the last probably 15 years, is America put an emphasis on, look, if you don't go to college, you're going to fail in life.
Okay.
That was this general mantra, doctrine, that was told to high school students. 99% of these students, whatever the percentage is, but a high percentage of the students just assumed, okay, I go to graduate high school, I immediately go to college. They started taking out what we called electives, like the trades, out of schools about in the 80s. Gen Xers like me, you're a Gen Z. And what's happened is there's a lack of a skilled workforce. So I've been in the air conditioning business for 28 years. Well, pretty much my whole adult life I've been doing it. And one of the hardest things we've found is finding people that actually understand the trade, that actually know how to use tools.
Okay.
The mentorships are gone. The education was removed. The sad thing, though, when the mantra or the doctrine was, hey, go to college, get a degree, they failed to provide what we call an ROI, or return on investment, on these degrees, which I think should be mandatory. So I think if a school is saying, hey, you're going to come to our school, what do you want to be? I would like to be XYZ. Okay. On average in America, this is what that job pays, and this is how much it's going to cost you to get that particular degree. And what they're finding is people got degrees in psychology, history, or a whole bunch of different things that the ROI, the return on investment, made no sense.
Okay.
And then they're buried in student debt. You know, you can get $100,000 student loan in America at 18 years old, but you can't get a $5,000 business loan.
Okay.
You know, if you had a great business idea, they'll not go to college. So there's been that focus, and we're starting to see the ramifications of that. I think it's great, though, in Colombia. What would you say is the primary focus on the professional side, the university side, or the technician side? Or is it equally weighted?
So particularly the technicians, it's known that they're gonna earn even lower than the professionals. So yeah, it's gonna be the difference of them, and the people who goes to the university, they're gonna it's the expectation that they're gonna earn even more than the technicians, because it's a 5-year study most of the time for the professionals, and for the technicians, as I said, it was like 3 or 2 years depending on the area or on the field that they are in. So yeah, it just depends on if you go to this one or whether you go to the other one, that you're going to expect to earn more or lower than the other ones.
Now, as far as those schools are concerned, how is that paid for? Is that a tuition-based school where you got to pay out of pocket to go to the university or the technician school?
You can get a credit for studying. So we have something called ICETEX in Colombia.
How do you say that?
ICETEX.
Okay.
So the main purpose of them is to lend the loans to the students so that they can study. And there's all kinds of contracts with them. For example, if you get a specific one, that you can end your career and then pay it. So yeah, you can get that type of contract, or either you can choose whatever fits you or you want.
So what path did you excuse me, path did you decide to take?
So I didn't take a loan with EasyTex because they do really have a really high interest rate. So what I did was I had a discount because of my brother. So it depends on the university. I get a discount, a 10% discount on each semester because of my brother, because he studied there. But I compete with the university, so I then got another discount. I got 3rd place in track and field. Okay. So yeah, if you find different ways to not to try to get a loan, it's even better. So what I did is my father and my mother, they kind of gave me the money, and at the same time I was working and paying my university and with my discounts.
So like scholarship.
Yeah.
As we would do. So you do really well in athletics in America, or you do really well in academics, you could potentially earn a scholarship, which helps you get through school. We're going to go back to your track and field because I know that you're really into fitness, and we'd like to talk about that as well. Okay. But on the track and field, so what did you run, or what did you do in track?
So there's a lot of alternatives that you can have in track and field. There's a lot of, for example, via speeding. For example, the ones that run like a mile or 2 or even more, or the jump. I was at high jump and large jump. So those were mine.
So what was your best high jump?
So I remember I didn't get the third place in high jump because I did it on revels. So it's like the you run and then you hand out something to the other person. So the other person.
Relays.
Oh, relays. Yeah.
Relays,
Sorry about
sure.
that.
I got it.
And but in high jump, I got 1.60 height centimeters.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was my best.
And that was third place.
No. In the other one that I told you, but not in jump.
Okay.
But I usually did more the jump than the other one. But I got the third place in the other one.
But you were competitive enough to where the college or the university said, "Hey,
Yeah.
we're going to give you a discount or a scholarship to come over here." And did you do track and field in university?
Yes, I did just a year or two. I'm not sure about that. But yeah, so I went to the nationals and I got the third place.
Wow, look at you, national.
Yeah.
Excellent. So fitness.
Yes.
I ran track in high school. I ran the 400 and then the mile relay. It's very demanding if you're going to be competitive. We had a really good competitive mile relay team. We did really well in our area, in our regional area. Very few people who go through high school sports continue into fitness. America has a systemic problem with unhealthy people, overweight people. When I was growing up in the 80s, everyone was thin. Very few people were overweight. We ate sugar cereals, we drank sodas, but we were outside every single day. Almost everybody as a kid was in sports. How have you transitioned from high school sports and some in university to continue your fitness and maintain a level of fitness that keeps you healthy?
Okay, so I want to start saying that like the corporations or the business, they have been like the savior of our modern life, but at the same time they have been the condemned to us, because they, with their inventions and with their technology, they have made that the people get addicted to some of the inventions they have. For example, I don't know, cereals or all kind of food that they can give us through the business they have. But so I think that the information, it's what have made me to realize what is that right path in order to get my food, to buy my food. Because when you are informed and when you know the composed of the elements or the food that you're buying, you can know whether it's good or whether it's bad for your health to consume it. So I think it depends on the real education you get in order to not to fall into that addictiveness that they have sold us.
Where did you get this education? Is this something, regarding nutrition that you're speaking of? Is this something that you went out on your own to figure out? Is this something that is taught in school?
Definitely my own. I mean, at school, it's, you can learn not directly, but you can learn because at school, it gives you the opportunity to choose your food. So, for example, if you go to buy, depending on whether it's soda or water, so you're getting indirectly that education of choosing. So, yeah. So if you don't get to think about the decision that you're about to make, then you don't care about your health, because your health is in every decision you make. So at school you can do that. You can learn. You can know if this choose is going to be well for your body or not. And as I started realize that that decision that I needed to make, so I started to be more involved in my care and in the food I was buying. So I started to get informed through social media. It's very, very easy to find now information and good information. Well, I mean, it's very easy to find bad information too. But if you get more involved, you're going to identify what is better for your health and what's the things you do really need to buy and stop buying.
So in America, I mean, we have plenty of food, right? Great, big, huge grocery stores. You go through a grocery store, it's hard to find healthy, non-processed foods.
Yeah.
Heavy in carbs, and I can go on about the food pyramid, where carbs were supposed to be your primary source of nutrition, which is being proven wrong. However, what's the shopping experience, grocery experience in Colombia versus America?
It's very, very different from United States because so we buy a lot of things, local things. So they are like vegetables. They are like good things that you can buy, and there's not a lot of processed food as they have in here. I mean, we have it, but we don't have that that competition over among the businesses to sell you that bad kind of things.
Do they bring in a lot of American-made products into Colombia?
No, definitely not.
So
I can say that I've been like doing my searching on what the things I used to see in Colombia, and there's not that much. No.
So you're here. Well, we'll go into why you're here in the United States. I'm going to go back to Colombia. So you went to university. What did you study?
I studied to be a lawyer. Yeah, so I'm now a lawyer in Colombia.
So you actually are a lawyer in Colombia.
Yes.
Okay, that's pretty impressive. And that's a 5-year program?
Yeah, 5-year.
5-year program. Now, a 5-year program, how much would that cost? If you had to pay for everything, how much would that education cost in Colombia?
Well, it could be 60 or 50 million.
And pesos. And I can't do the math because I don't have. I guess I could look it up. Let's see here. We can do Colombian pesos to U.S. dollar. Oh boy, it's 0.00024. Okay. Let's remember that point. 3 zeros and a 24. All right, so we'll go to the handy dandy calculator, and we're gonna go. What did you say about how many million?
In between 50 60. It just depends.
50 to 60.
Yeah, 50 to 60.
50 million times 0.00024. About $12,000.
Yeah.
That's
between
not bad.
10 and 50 and 15 depending on the
So
on the
for
career.
$12,000 US, 5 years to become a lawyer in Colombia. So you get this degree in Colombia and you wake up and you go, hey, I think I'm going to go ahead and go to America and go to a very prestigious law school in California and become an attorney or get your legal degree in the United States. What was the motivation there?
Well, first, I gotta say that I didn't end the school and say, oh, okay, I'm about to go to the university in United States and study to be a lawyer over there. No, I didn't. So my parents, because it's not a secret that it's very, very expensive, everything in here.
That's
so
right,
that wasn't even like an idea that I had in that time to project myself. So I went to my parents and I said, well, I can do a master or specialization in Colombia, in Bogota, in the capital of the city, the capital of the country. And I said, well, that sounds good. But then they gave me the idea that we can get the loan in order to be able to study in here and yeah, to become a lawyer. So at first it was very shocking for me because so it was the first barrier that is the language. Of course, I just have my English from my school. It was 5 years ago and maybe more. So it was like the first barrier I thought of not being able to come in here and to do my master. So it was like very shocking at the first time just thinking of it. But I was realizing that in Colombia I was very comfortable because I had everything. So I was working. I didn't have to pay anything because my parents were always there for me. And so I started realizing that I don't want this for my life. I don't want to be comfortable anymore. I do really want to go out of my zone. And even if it's going to take a lot of me and it's something that I have never done before because of the difficult this takes. So I went like, yeah, why not? So I can't. We can take the loan, and I'm gonna pay it as soon as I get out of there and start working, because it's gonna be an investment. So people don't realize that every sacrifice that you do today is gonna be for the great opportunity for tomorrow. So yeah, it's gonna be a loan. It's gonna be on high interest rates, and I have to pay it. I have to come back and pay it. But it's something for all your life. So yeah, you're gonna like do an investment in order to maybe improve the quality of life that you want to have. Not only talking about the life, but inside of you. So I think.
Yeah, you bring up a really, really good point. People in general are very scared of change.
Yeah.
In my career, I've always gone after my fears. If I had a fear of something, I would educate myself on it. So fear is generally a function of a lack of education on the topic. So people have a fear of flying. So well, let's go ahead and study what does that look like. How does a plane fly? You can go into all the details and educate yourself. The more you know, the less fearful you'll be. You did something that you don't see too often.
Yeah.
You had a very comfortable life. You had a degree that you could make money with in Colombia. You have all your friends, your social network,
True.
the family that you spoke of earlier that is very close and tight. So you had all the support. And you made a decision as a very young woman to go, I'm going to get out of my comfort zone. I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to go to America. I'm going to take on these loans. And I'm going to go after one of the hardest degrees that you can get. Yeah. And in the state of California, which is known to be quite litigious. So there's a lot to learn. And then on top of that, you have a language barrier. And a lot of people don't know the law, and I'm not an expert on the law by any means, but it's a different language you're learning. A lot of Latin phrases, very complicated concepts. How is, in your studies, how long have you been at the university here now?
3 months.
Okay, so how difficult, the topic you're studying is extremely difficult.
True.
How much more difficult is it because of actually having to translate some of the stuff that you're trying to learn?
Yeah, so think that I'm not actually studying like the Juris Doctor career because it's the 3 years law student. I'm not doing that. That is supposed to be even easier than the master that I'm doing today. So not only the language, but the topic, because neither in Colombia I had to focus my career so much to do a master, that it means to do a master. So I'm focusing not only on the study, but the like the technique words and the like direction I'm doing this master is in corporations and business law. So yeah, it's not like the general law that you learn even in here, like the 22-year-old or 18-year-old boy that go to the law school and do the 3 years and then they do the master. But I skipped that step. So I'm way more like I'm in a way more difficult path because it's a master. So you gotta be careful on everything, not the system, the legal system, but the things that how it works in a corporation or in a business field.
So difficult.
Yeah, a
lot more difficult. But you're not scared of difficulty. How do you feel inside when you face difficulties? A lot of people don't realize is things that are difficult in life create the most benefit as we go forward. You got to feel the pain, in order to learn something and better your life. Most people just don't want to put themselves out there to feel the pain it takes. They'll look at somebody, let's say you in a couple, 3 years, and they're going to say, wow, look at her. She's young and she's an attorney and she's in a nice law firm. Oh, she makes a good living. Oh man, I would love to be her. The problem is they're looking at the highlight trailer.
Yeah.
They haven't seen the whole movie. They haven't seen you growing up in Colombia, which is technically a poor country.
Yeah.
They haven't seen you deciding I'm going to take care of myself so that I'm healthy enough to take on these larger mental challenges. They haven't seen the fact that you broke away from a very comfortable situation where you had all the support in the world and went by yourself, by the way. Nobody, you didn't take your family with you, came here, and then are tackling one of the hardest degrees that you can get. They don't want to do that. See, people, they want your life, but they don't want to do the hard work to do it. And hard work always equals pain and suffering, and it's difficult.
Yeah, they don't envy the process.
No, they don't. They envy the result. They don't envy the process. I agree. That's very well said. So you show up here to your university. How does the university in the United States differ from the university experience in Colombia?
Well, a lot is studying from the Socratic method that they use in here. It's way more better to have this kind of education.
Explain the Socratic method to those that don't know.
Okay, yeah. So it comes from Socrates, the philosopher.
Yeah.
The philosopher. So yeah, he learns about asking about everything to others. So when we are in the class, the professor just asks every single thing that he can in order to make us understand, but at the same time to realize that we don't have the answers, and we as our lawyers need to seek for the answer. So as you're having to ask questions, you're gonna be pushed to seek for the answers, because we as lawyers do really need that skill developed. So that's the really good thing that I like in here. Just in these 3 months, I've been learning about that. So in Colombia, it's like the professor just dictating the information and like lending you the information, but not doing this interacting thing with the students that I think is very valuable and very important in here. So I think that difference now from the 3 months that I've been here, it's like making the real difference between the studying in Colombia and in here.
That's refreshing, because our education system, specifically higher education system, has a really bad reputation. I mean, the Socratic method of teaching, which, the basis behind that is to get you to think for yourself.
Yes.
They've gone so far away from Socratic method to indoctrination, to the point where if you have a different opinion from a professor, you could literally fail the class and be treated very disrespectfully. A lot of opinions are just forced down people's brains. The other thing is what I like to call it the regurgitation method of education. This is what you need to pass the test.
Yes.
Zero thought process, nothing but memorization. You see college students, they're doing all-nighters, and they're just trying to cram their brain with so much information so that they can pass a test. The emphasis is on passing the test, and they don't really, it seems that they don't care that you actually are thinking for yourself. They don't want you to. We have a whole bunch of young people coming out of the university with brainwashed ideas. And the way you know this is they all have the exact same opinions. And they're shunned if they actually try to think for themselves. It's a disgrace.
Yeah.
And we're starting to see some pushback with this kind of doctrine in the United States. I think people are starting to wake up, I hope. I have coined a phrase called the wholesale opinion market.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is human nature is such that they don't want to be ostracized. They want to be accepted. And they want big groups of friends. Social media has, I've got thousands of friends, right? Because they all agree with me. What's interesting is so the reason why I came up with this is it's so much easier to just say, oh yeah, I believe that, because you're in a group of people. You've seen that, and this has happened throughout history, but you get groupthink. The problem with groupthink is that you don't think for yourself.
Yeah.
And so you come out and you're I believe in this, or I believe in that, and you're wrong. You're wrong. I don't even want to listen to you. And if you actually get the opportunity to sit down with that person and get them to actually explain their position, they don't know. They don't know. All they know is, well, this is what I've been told.
Yes.
And then you say, well, that sounds counterproductive to humans, right? The human condition. Well, it isn't, because if you decide to start thinking for yourself, all of a sudden your circle of friends will get really, really small, because you'll get the one thing people don't like is ostracized, because you no longer have that wholesale opinion.
Yeah.
The wholesale opinion is extremely easy. Oh, everyone believes that? Okay, so do I do, and everyone will like me. Mm-hmm. And it's a sad commentary on young people today, not even young people, people my age, Gen Xers. It's been around for all generations. It's a form of brainwashing.
Yes.
Way I have always approached life and information is I love to listen to people, but I want to take the information you're giving me and process it, and do my own research, come up with my own opinions, even if they prove to be wrong, which they will be in cases. But that process of making mistakes and learning that there's a better way to do something is how you grow.
True.
If you just subscribe to the wholesale opinion market, you're never going to grow. You're not going to learn anything. You're going to walk around with a blindfold on. It's very refreshing to see a Gen Zer, as we call it in America. They don't use those terms in Colombia.
They're classified like that, but we don't use it that much.
Yeah, so the Gen Zer who actually is thinking for yourself. I'm a Gen Xer, and we're starting to be that group of people that were our parents, right? We're the in our 50s, late 40s, 50s, and we're in the working force, and our kids are grown, it wasn't like that when we were kids, Yes. And that's an easy way to say it, but when you really take a look at it, you get your millennials, you get your Gen Zers. I've seen lots of bright lights with these people. You're an example. I'm very proud of my son, who's also a Gen Zer. I've taught him to be a critical thinker, use Socratic method, listen and respect people. However, do not just agree for the purpose of agreeing. And if they're not interested in seeing your side of things, unfriend them.
Yeah.
Because really, friends should be, relationships should be should be to help you improve your life.
True.
So this is refreshing to see that this is the method they're using at the university. Let you think for yourself, and it's a very good quality, of course, for attorneys. Correct?
Yeah, correct.
Colombia has a reputation. at least in America, we think, oh, Colombia, it's drug lords and lots of crime. Is that an accurate description, or did you when you grew up there? Did you feel safe?
So yeah, the last question, it's a very good one because of the concept that every country around the world has us. I really felt safe in my country. Well, where I was living in Bucaramanga, especially because my parents and my friends gave me like this comfortable zone of that I was being cared of others. So that's why I really raised feeling comfortable and safe at the same time. But the thing is that a violation of rights from other people, it started to raise a lot at the time that I suffer directly from. So I don't know if this is okay to tell you here, but so an assassination of my aunt. So it was made about 7 years ago. So at that time I started to feel really really unsafe because of that. So yeah, the violence in Colombia, it's very, 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 very bad right now. Not because just of guerrillas that we call it, we call them out there. But
what
because
is that?
So yeah, guerrillas, they're like organizations. They are in charge of the criminal things, kind of like that, and they commercialize drugs. So that's the way they get financed, and yeah, they do all bad kind of stuff over there because they were created with the sense of saving the community, because at that time the politic didn't have an opportunity to other people to express their ideas and to participate. So they were created in order to represent the society in the politics and in the government. But they with the years they started to doing a lot of other things, killing, and now that they have the drug as a financiation, they have been way worse
A lot
now.
more power.
Yeah, because of the power.
Unfortunately, with a lot of power comes corruption. We have a lot of crime in the United States.
Yeah.
Any country is going to deal with that. We've gone through a terrible change in the way that people who've subscribed to this wholesale opinion market has done serious damage all the way up to Washington, D.C. We've had this defund the police thing. These cities that prescribe to that are completely destroyed by crime. In my business, we do HVAC and refrigeration commercial, and we've seen many of our accounts because they decriminalized shoplifting here in California. Basically, anything below $950 isn't really a shoplifting crime. Well, this just gave everybody a free pass to go in and literally destroy these mom and pop stores, small convenience stores, even the large stores. It's been absolutely terrible, and a lot of these have turned into violence. This is they call it the woke mindset here, but really all it is again, indoctrination without information, right? Oh, this is bad. They don't make you think. They just tell you this is the way you should think. And then you get a bunch of people that come out, young people specifically, and others too, but there's a large majority of these young people that come out of our universities with this concept. And then we actually, and they don't think about the consequences. It's an altruistic opinion of, hey, let's just not have police and everyone will behave. Well, we have laws. We're a country of laws. Laws are there for a reason, as long as they don't become tyrannical. The crime situation in all countries exists. In Colombia, was that an influence on you to go into law at all?
No, I don't really think so. because I was like focused at that time on reading, so I kind of like understand that, oh, if I like reading, then this career will be great for me for studying it. But yeah, so talking about the drugs and everything back in Colombia, so what the things that made Colombia be that qualification of drug thing and everything is that Colombia and Peru, that it's another country near Colombia, they have and we have really good land in order to produce the drugs, for example, cocaine. So yeah, our land is very good for that.
So it's designed specifically. Oh, listen, God created Colombia to grow cocaine.
Yeah, we need to do it. No.
I'm sure it can grow a lot better things than cocaine.
Yeah, that's the thing that we are known for that. So yeah, that's bad because of course it's not only the drug itself, but it's all it's like the surrounding of that.
Yeah,
like the violence, like yeah, everything that surrounds this field that makes us to be less educated and more violent.
Yeah, it's we see the same things here. It's been a problem forever or for a long time, and I don't know what the solution is. But yeah, avoidance and surrounding yourself with the right people, the right crowds, making good decisions.
Sure.
Having agency over your own life, which you just don't see anymore. You know, there's a lack of people, especially here in America, that I see that have no agency in their life. It's everybody else's fault. I'm not this because of this. I can't get ahead because of this situation, and that just hasn't been taught. You know, being responsible for your own decisions, understanding, like you said earlier, that, hey, decisions you make today will affect your life in the future. You know, we have a society of instant gratification. You know, you were talking about technology earlier, which has benefited our lives, made things snap just like that. Right here, right there, get it now, get all your information. But that stuff is fleeting, right? It doesn't give you long-term results. You know, we have an overweight problem, a lot of fat people. You know, the nice term is overweight, but you know, seriously obese, fat, unhealthy, and there's a whole bunch of reasons that you can speculate why that is. But everyone wants that shot or that pill, right? Nobody wants to do the hard work, and it's funny because there's this new shot that people are taking. There's a few different brands of this, and it's supposed to be the miracle weight loss thing. Here's my problem with it. Is it's effective apparently, but it doesn't build long-term habits, right?
Sure.
In other words, you haven't changed your mindset that got you into that situation in the first place. So when you go off of these miracle drugs, you're back in the same situation you were. Change requires pain. You have to go through it. You have to have a clear idea why you're doing something. And this is with your health, your finances. Again, people are jealous of the results, but they don't want to look at the guy who actually became a millionaire over the course of his life. You know, there was a great book that came out, Dave Ramsey. They did a study, the largest study ever on millionaires. Almost 80% of millionaires in the United States started with nothing.
Wow.
Okay, and so there's a misconception amongst people that don't have that, that it was just given to them. They inherited the money. That's just not the case. These people made a decision, just like losing weight, just like being healthy. They've made a decision. I'm going to start saving now. I'm going to put my financial future as a priority, so that someday I will have the money to live a life how I want to live it. You know, there's an 80-20 rule, which is very popular. And one of the things that I try to avoid is living for the future. You got to live today, but people take that same concept and misconstrue it of, I'll just spend it all.
Yes.
I'm going to be dead tomorrow. So I'm going to party all night, all day, because tomorrow I'll be dead. Well, that's just, that is just not responsible. But it also doesn't mean that you live a miserable life so that someday in the future, when you're in a rocking chair, you've got enough money to do what you want. Just like the magic shot, you haven't built any kind of habits in your life, any kind of structure. So you're not going to know how to live a good life when you finally get there with whatever that financial goal was.
Yeah, and I do really need to step in here because I want to connect it to the functional medicine that right now is very popular because it makes people to be informed and at the same time informing others to nutrition, because the modern medicine right now, it's like they are focused in treatments and in just like not to feel pain or something like that. But what they don't do is to focus on the problem or the root of the problem. So what functional medicine does, it's they discover the root of the problem and they treat it. But the medicine right now, they just focus on the treatment, but they don't focus on the root of the problem. So they don't have anything information available to change people's life, really. So yeah, so in Colombia, it's now very popular, the functional medicine that makes the root of the problem to be treated and just to overcome to overcome the problem that is causing you whatever disease you have. So knowing that, you're gonna start changing your habits and changing the way you think and the way you do nutrition. So yeah, it's gonna change you a lot in a good way. But yeah, as I said, now the people just want the easy thing and just to end your problem with just a vaccine or something that you can get in the pharmacy and very easy. So yeah, not even the professionals in medicine, the doctors, they are not like educated in nutrition because they are just educated to the treatment but not the nutrition. So a doctor that is recommend you something, they just recommend you drugs, medicine, because it's not drugs. You treat
we understand.
Yeah, you treat the concept
However,
differently.
some of those medicines are actually drugs.
Yeah.
We've got a major problem that we're dealing with here with the opioid crisis.
Yeah. So the doctors, what they recommend you is just a medicine, not the change in your habits that you need to have in order to don't take that medicine anymore because you don't need it anymore. So yeah, that's the business of the health system in here and in Colombia, that they just want to bring people in order to treat them and at the same time to consume all the pharmaceutical things that they give to the people in order to have the lucrative business.
Yeah, that's a very good point you make. Is when you say business, right? Medicine has become a business. I don't think I have ever spent more than 10 minutes in a doctor's office. The nurse staff spends more time with you, does your vitals, does all that. Doctor walks in, not even paying attention to you, asks you a handful of questions, prescribes you something, and leaves. It's a turnover market. It's how much medicine can I prescribe, rather than there's no money in taking the time to find the root cause of your ailment.
Yes. Right?
Oh, hey, we got a shot. You're fat? Here you go. Guess what? In 3 months of taking this shot, you'll be fine. How's it going to work? Well, X, Y, Z, you're not going to be as hungry. I don't know how they work. I'm not a scientist, but it works. Well, the problem is they haven't actually addressed the root cause. And they're not paid to address the root cause. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, they're paid to prescribe more and more and more and more drugs. Sure. I had a practice wife at some time. I don't call them ex-wife. It's my practice wife. And she was a pharmaceutical research. And it was interesting. One time we were at a Christmas party, and they had just got FDA approval on a cancer drug. That was the efficacy on this drug was amazing, and it was a breakthrough drug. And I was astonished. It was a real eye opener for me. I was in here, and the CEO was talking about the drug and the outlook, and he says, "Now there's been rumors out there that I've heard the C word being bounced around. Now, all us American listeners here are going, the C word, that's a cuss word, bad word about a woman." No, actually, what he said is the C word in pharmaceutical, which is the worst word you can use, is cure. And I just sat there and I thought to myself, my God, that's true. The last thing somebody wants to do is create a cure for something. They want therapeutic drugs. Mm-hmm. That's the key. Thomas Edison's light bulb, the one he finally perfected, burns 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in Edison, New Jersey. Well, if they continue to make that light bulb, all light bulb companies would be out of business. So
Yeah.
they engineer, and this is with all parts, and I'm in the service business, but they engineer failure rates. So they'll design it not to fail, and then they'll engineer failure rates so that they can sell it to you again and over and over and over again. And this business model seems to be prevalent in the medical field. And what do we have? We have a society that is addicted to these medications that are maintenance-based because they want the magic pill. They're not looking at the root cause.
Yeah.
Why am I overweight? Why am I tired? Why am I whatever it is? And again, I'm not a doctor, and there can be serious things wrong, but our medical community is not digging. They don't have the time.
Yeah.
And our medical insurance is outrageous here. For the amount of money we pay for our medical insurance, the care is substandard. If I charged my customer those kind of outrageous fees and did the kind of service that you get, I wouldn't have very many customers. It'd be a terrible thing. So, yeah, I agree. I think that, and how did you say it? A functional medicine?
Yes.
And let's define that one more time as clearly as possible so we can see the difference.
Oh, yeah. So the functional, it is focused just on discovering the root of the problem, what caused really the problem. So if you're going and digging into what's causing you this disease, then you're going to be able to understand and treat not only by a doctor, but treat yourself and be control of your health. Because the problem is that you're like handing your health to a person that don't know you.
They don't care.
They don't care about you. So they just have 10 minutes for you. And you've been the years you have knowing you, trying to knowing you, but you're just you're not taking care of your health because you are delivering your health to other person that don't know you. So that
And
doesn't know you.
And they're motivated for...
And they're motivated for money. So you just gotta think that you need to be in control of your life and your health. That you can take other people's advice, but being able to understand what advice and what person is giving you the advice. Because if they are doing it for money, just take it for granted that it's not gonna be good for your health. So yeah, starting for that. And so the professionals, the doctors of functional medicine, they are really with you in the process. So yeah, they know you and they start digging in the cause of the problem.
That's refreshing, and that's a great philosophy, in any pursuit in life, right? So, I've been in business 28 years, been an entrepreneur my whole life. I used to chase dollars, right? I used to want to be the richest man in the graveyard. My focus was how much money can I get for this particular product or service, and when I was younger. And my focus as I've grown in business and as I've grown as an entrepreneur has completely changed. And so providing value for your customer, understanding your customer's needs, the root cause, has the benefit of, being successful in business. It also gives you a reason to do what you're doing. When you're motivated by money, perhaps even in the medical field or any business or any career, money is a very lonely bedfellow. They call it the hedonic treadmill. People just say, "Hey, look, if I make $10,000 more a year, then I'll be happy." Well, the human brain has this amazing way of bringing those excitements back down to level, right? So, I'm really excited about this. I got this great raise. 3 months later, it's just your life's normal again. If you're not happy with who you are today and what you do and what you're providing to society and for yourself, it doesn't matter what you think will make you happy. You really have to, there's a saying, wherever you go, there you are.
Yeah.
So know who you are. Know what makes you tick. Understand your own fitness. Now, what I find amazing, this is, and I think the audience will know this. You're 23 years old. Your thought process is amazing as far as analyzing different situations. This is why the Socratic education is so important, to question and think about everything. We go through life so much that, the doctors know everything, or the lawyers know everything, or this person or that person, they're a professional. The professor at the university must be right, because if I disagree, I'm shunned. I'm told that I'm an idiot. I'm told I'm kicked out of that social group. This is destroying our society. The education system is supposed to be, and was at one time, a place where you could discuss ideas and thought process. We're seeing this in science now. We're seeing it all over the place, where there's just not good debate. You disagree. One great scientist disagrees with another great scientist. If that scientist he disagrees with is part of the wholesale opinion market, well, then that other scientist, they've lost their careers. They've lost other things. It's there's just no open conversation. It needs to change.
Yes.
We will, in America, if we start promoting that again, we'll get more young people like you who are able to think through processes without fear of being ostracized, shunned. Yes, their circle of friends will be a lot smaller, but they're going to be a lot more important to your life. So I like to finish these podcasts with asking a couple of questions. So as a child, growing up in Colombia, what was your idea of being successful? Up to about teenage, you're like, oh man, if when I'm going to be successful, this is what it's going to look like.
Yeah. So being successful, thinking at the age of 10 or 11, it would have been at that time being a professional. Yeah. So even a lawyer or doctor or an engineer. So as you start growing, so you start realizing, is that even being successful? I mean, is that just the end of the word successful for me? Meaning, so yeah, not at this point. I don't think that successful is just a career, but the successful would be for me now, living and enjoying my life. Successful, it's meaning now that I can be able to do something for myself and to help others. It's like, if I can in my life or in the future help someone, it would be like I'm successful and that's what I wanted. But if something comes later, like better for me, it would be accepted for me as okay. But successful is being good with me and with my environment.
How is
Correct.
that method of teaching beneficial as you move on in your career as an attorney?
Okay. Yes, it's very important the Socratic method that we use in the university, because we as lawyers need to seek for answers, need to seek for propositions, need to seek for purpose in the investigation we are making in every case. So if we do really believe that we can build our own opinion, we're going to find our own methods to investigate and to come up with a solution and to come up with something that could solve and could help in the case. So I think that's very important for us to have into account, that we can start digging into ourselves to come up with those ideas and solutions.
You know, it's interesting listening to you talk about being a lawyer. I always think of a lawyer, you know, a professional field. There's quite a bit of creativity involved in it as well.
True.
Creatives think outside the box. They see things that other people don't see. They're able to describe it, whether it's painting, writing, graphic arts. It's interesting, but you have to paint a picture for a jury or a judge.
Yes.
So it's a professional field heavy in creativity, correct?
Correct. Yes. So we as lawyers need to be thinking, or we need to adapt the thinking in different ways. And it's very different from like normal people that can't understand what we have to be through in order to come up with a solution to the case, because we need to think in the plaintiff case and in the defendant case. Okay. So we have arguments and contra arguments that we can think both ways. Normal people just think in their way and not in the contract way. So the contrary way, it's gonna be like putting ourselves in others' shoes so that we can understand and then we can argument.
Understood. How your school, specifically your professors, use the Socratic method. How
Correct.
is that method of teaching beneficial as you move on in your career as an attorney?
Okay. Yes, it's very important the Socratic method that we use in the university, because we as lawyers need to seek for answers, need to seek for propositions, need to seek for purpose in the investigation we are making in every case. So if we do really believe that we can build our own opinion, we're going to find our own methods to investigate and to come up with a solution and to come up with something that could solve and could help in the case. So I think that's very important for us to have into account, that we can start digging into ourselves to come up with those ideas and solutions.
You know, it's interesting listening to you talk about being a lawyer. I always think of a lawyer, you know, a professional field. There's quite a bit of creativity involved in it as well.
True.
Creatives think outside the box. They see things that other people don't see. They're able to describe it, whether it's painting, writing, graphic arts. It's interesting, but you have to paint a picture for a jury or a judge.
Yes.
So it's a professional field heavy in creativity, correct?
Correct. Yes. So we as lawyers need to be thinking, or we need to adapt the thinking in different ways. And it's very different from like normal people that can't understand what we have to be through in order to come up with a solution to the case, because we need to think in the plaintiff case and in the defendant case. Okay. So we have arguments and contra arguments that we can think both ways. Normal people just think in their way and not in the contract way. So the contrary way, it's gonna be like putting ourselves in others' shoes so that we can understand and then we can argument.
Understood. Okay, let's bring this whole thing around. We talked about you are a Gen Zer.
Yes.
There are Gen Zers listening.
Okay.
There's all sorts of generations. We try to appeal to all the generations. But specifically Gen Zers, a lot of them are struggling to trying to find purpose, whether it's in their career, whether it's in fitness, specifically here in America, their social groups. So let's start with fitness. What would your advice be to anyone out there, but specifically Gen Zers that understand fitness is important, but don't have the motivation or the direction that they need to do to take that path?
Okay, yes. I think they need to have a purpose. Because if you have a purpose first, you're gonna see if the methods that you're going to find, it's the good one in order to seek for that purpose. So if, for example, you have a method, but you know that this method is not well, or it's not, it doesn't meet your requirements or your thing in order to reach that goal, you need to change it. So that's what makes difficult this process, because if you don't have your method and you don't get to meet all the necessities in order to find that objective, you're going to fail more. So you're gonna get like I don't know what to say.
Discouraged, perhaps?
Yeah, discouraged. So
Sure.
if you get discouraged, you're just gonna
Very common,
Yeah,
too.
you're gonna leave that away, and you're not gonna follow your objective. So yeah, that depends on how many times you can stand up and say that if this method is not worth it and it didn't reach your goals, then you have to change it.
Okay, when you were talking about purpose, can you define that a little more clearly for the listener? And specifically in your own life, what was your purpose to stay fit?
Yes, so I think you need to define or set your goal. If you want to get into shape, let's put it that way, or if you want to improve your health, then you're gonna set your goal, and you're gonna see like, okay, I want to be healthy, or I want to get into shape. Then what's the thing that I need to do in order to reach that goal? So if you put your goal, then you're gonna know how is the path going to be, or which path to follow.
So once they reach the goal, how does someone... So one of the biggest things I've noticed is people set goals. I've done this in my own life. We reach the goal, we reach the finish line, and the effort stops. And this is a very common human trait, whether it's losing weight, saving money, getting out of debt, building a business, because you're all excited about it.
Yes.
And the fact is, goals worth achieving are difficult.
Yeah, that's true.
What do you do, or what is your motivation after the honeymoon period, after the infatuation period of, hey, I'm going to get in shape, I'm going to get healthy, my blood pressure, get it down? What is your long-term motivation to stay that way?
Well, I think every day is a challenge. So if you take it as a challenge, then you're going to think that you have to do it every day. If you do this action every day of eating healthy, then you're going to see that it's for the long term, that your health is for the long term, not just because you want to get in shape. Well, you can get in shape and just stop because you just reached your goal, that it was to get in shape. But you can see that if you leave it, then you're not gonna get longer in that shape because you leave it. So it's a challenge that you have to be conscious that every day you need to apply it to your life.
So make it a lifestyle.
Make it a lifestyle.
Rather than a short-term goal.
True.
Make it a lifestyle. Get out there and say, okay, this is the way I'm going to live the rest of my life.
Yes. Doing exercise is something that you have to do every week. So it's constantly. Mm-hmm. And it's a challenge for every day, that if you don't want to get up you don't want to get up from your bed, it's a challenge to get up and then to go and do some workout. So if you treat it as a challenge that you can apply to your life every day, then you're gonna see that if you leave it, you're gonna miss it. So yeah, it's living with that. I think
So one of the
that's
biggest
the
challenge.
purpose.
So I've struggled with weight in my past. One of my challenges is that food is a necessity in life. I think one of the things that I did to overcome that concept is we have to eat, and it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
So the average person has maybe 5-6 meals, go-to meals that they go to all the time. So if you look at what you eat during the course of a month, you may rotate through 5, 6, maybe 10 different meals during the course of that month. So what I've done is I've taken the meals that I generally rotate through and optimized them. Took a look at each one and say, okay, how can I take this meal that I love and optimize it in portion and in ingredients, which is the most important thing. So making sure the ingredients are healthy, make sure that they aren't providing a lot of processed stuff. And there's many ways to do that. And the amazing thing that I found is by optimizing the meals that I've already been used to eating to a more healthy, protein-heavy diet, low carb. However, still the same concept. I've been able to develop meals that are even better tasting.
Yeah.
And I feel better when I eat them. So that solved a big problem for me. The cadence in which I eat as well is important. And what I also found is the type of ingredients I put in satiate me more. So
Yes.
Heavy protein, good fats, low carbs cause my body just not to need as much food. And then the exercise. One thing I realized, just because I'm a numbers guy, being in business, is you can't out-exercise a bad diet. You just can't out-exercise a bad diet.
True.
You know, it's interesting. You'll sit there and work out for an hour and look at your Apple Watch or your fitness watch or the thing on your treadmill or whatever it is. We have so many different ways to track our fitness and go, oh, I burned 285 calories. And then you eat a candy bar in 5 minutes. So
Yeah.
you worked out, it hurt, it was terrible, and you just replaced the calories with a candy bar or something that wasn't healthy. So really a focus on diet was one of the things that I did. And then I added, obviously, exercise into it. But my exercise was more for the internal function of my body. The blood pressure was a problem. And
Okay.
which is a significant, you call it the silent killer. And you have to exercise. You have to get your heart rate up, helps
True.
lower blood pressure, and a whole bunch of other things. I'm not a scientist, but the amateur that I am in fitness, it is really important to get your heart rate up at least a few times a week. They say walking 30 minutes a day will add 10 years to your life. I haven't seen the data. But hey, sounds good to me, and I feel great after I go for a walk. So that's something that people can do, and once you start doing it, it isn't as complicated, and it becomes routine. Correct?
Yes. Yeah. So one time you put it into a routine, then as I said, you're gonna miss it. So you're gonna want to be healthy again because you're feeling good. So that's the great thing about this. I think the hour window in which you eat, it's very important too, because I really think that fasting, it's a really good way to restore your body. So when you're fasting, you're turning into energy, some glucose and fat. So I think that's very good for your health, because nowadays everyone is like doing it because of the popularity that it has increased in this method to burn fat. But we have to remember that this was a long time ago. Like the human being couldn't be eating all the day as we are doing today, 6 meals a day. That I think that's a lot. That's too much for people. When the insulin goes up, then it's very, very, very difficult to burn fat, and it's gonna be accumulating in your body. So I think it's very, very important to take into account that fasting is a very good way to treat your body, not only to burn fat, but it has a lot of good impacting your health, even in your brain and in everything in general.
Yeah, a scientist, I believe out of Stanford, got the Nobel Prize for his study in what's called autophagy. And it's the basically self-eating of your own body.
Yes.
This happens when you're
True.
in fasting and your body goes into a defense mode. Your insulin levels drop significantly, cells get protected, and it releases a whole bunch of cells or something. Again, I'm not a scientist.
Yes.
That go out and destroy bad cells, toxins, cancer cells, things like this. And it's interesting because every major religion for thousands of years
definitely
has fasting in their literature. So they knew this for a long time, that fasting is healthy. And I agree with you that we've been in an environment of convenience for a very, very long time. Well, not really when you consider the human race, but in our lifetimes and our parents' lifetime, food is very readily available. We're not growing it for the most part. We just run down to the store, get what's on the shelf. Economics definitely plays a role in that. And the worst foods are generally cheaper.
Yes.
And we can get into that habit. And they taste great. They're convenient and they taste great. So I think that's great advice. And it's a lifetime lifestyle. And you'll have more energy. You'll feel better about yourself. What I noticed is how clear-headed I am, how I think better.
Yes.
What the energy I have to go after my other goals. So let's talk about that. The other thing that I was impressed with is when you mentioned how you did not want to be comfortable.
Yes.
And you made these major decisions about your life that most people would have a difficulty doing.
Yes.
What would you say to people, and there's a lot of them out there, who are dissatisfied, they feel stuck, they're in a career they hate, they're in a relationship they don't like. What would you say to them about their career first that would help them feel less stuck, specifically the comfort zone?
Okay, in my case, I think it was very important for me to find something that triggered me in order to put it into an action. So I had this opportunity that my parents told me about the university. So having this opportunity, but at the same time being so comfortable in Colombia with my friends, my parents, my family, and everything back there, I was like, okay, so I need to take a decision. And my parents told me, okay, this is a good idea. You decide. So what makes me trigger and to take that decision into an action was my future. Do I really want to be comfortable all my life for my future? I think that's not gonna work out, and that's not what is going to bring me like the success that I want to in my life. So to make it into an action, the first thing was, okay, so I'm gonna look for information on the internet, and I'm gonna find if it's that possible. So I communicated with Robbins. She's from the university, and she told me the steps. So I start for the first one, for the beginning, and I said, okay, so I need to take my papers and then pass it to her, and then I need to do all the steps that she walked me through. So
directional decision making.
True. Because if I want to project myself into a future in a person that I want to be, then I'm going to do it. So that triggered me. That purpose in my life to see myself in a future, that triggered me. So I think you have to find
How do people get past that voice in the head, though? So there is a legitimate fear of the unknown. Okay. It's evolutionary. It's meant to protect us from things that we don't understand. We could look at it kind of like a question mark. We know what we want, but the next step is a question mark. And after that question mark is a whole bunch more question marks. the importance of directional decision making is that you at least solve the first question mark.
Yes.
That would be, talking to the administrator and knowing that at first you have to get these papers. What I found is that taking the first step, even though you don't have all the answers thereafter, relieves a lot of anxiety and perhaps make some of those other question marks clearer.
Yes.
And then you answer another question mark, and it might make 2 or 3 more question marks clearer. And then you keep moving forward. But the voice in your head, we all have it, saying, no, Daniela, no, Ryan, don't do that. And it's not only the voice in your head, it's also, your homies
External voices.
your group of friends who
Yes.
are comfortable in Colombia, or my group of friends, could be family members. Sounds like you have a very supportive family, but oh boy, that's complicated. You really want to do that? You're going to fail.
Yes.
You'll have that in your own. How do you overcome the fear of negativity?
I gotta tell you that my father, he's a really afraid man. He's afraid of everything, even from darkness. And he can't even go to other place through airplane because he hates airplanes. He can't fly anywhere. So I was like, in some point in my when I was little, so I had that thing of being afraid of everything too, because he kind of like shared it to me indirectly, but I took it from him. And so it wasn't just the afraid of unknown, of my future, of everything in here, because I didn't know anyone. It wasn't just that. It was the being afraid of everything, of new people, of the stability that I was going to have or not. Everything, it was unknown, and then I was afraid of everything too at the same time. But I overcome that because I wanted to get out of that comfort zone that I'm not always liking when I feel that I'm having it or that I'm into it. I hate being in my comfort zone, but sometimes you can't realize that because you're very good in that zone, that you don't want to get out of it. So a first thing that I realized that I wasn't comfortable with my comfortable zone. It was in my career when back in Colombia. So when you're going to graduate, you need to choose into to do a thesis or a practice, year practice. And I found that most of the people went to the second choice, the year practice, because it's better. You can get paid and you're just going to do some work. But thesis, it was very, very difficult. So I kind of pushed myself to do the thesis because everyone was going to other direction.
Took the path less traveled.
Yes, I took it because I wanted to demonstrate myself that I could do it, that it's not impossible, that if every single people was taking the other path, it was because they want to be there, because all the people just wants that because it's the easier path. I wanna be that I was capable of doing something else, of pushing myself to do better. So I realized that I was getting not with that people anymore, just to choosing my path. So that's why I think
your circle of friends got smaller.
True. So I think that that makes me realize that I didn't want to be in that comfort zone anymore. So I choose to came to America and pass whatever I need to pass in order to become a better person and overcome all the things that came to my life.
And there's a phrase that a lot of people, probably everybody knows. It's the path less traveled. The reason why it's less traveled is it's full of treachery and fear, hard work, and people just don't want to. People don't want to put themselves through that. I've done quite the opposite in my life. I've not been a follower. I try to make my own path. I was in high school and told, hey, you're going to fail. I got pulled into the counselor's office because I was probably one of the only people in all of high school, just a handful of people that did not have a college that I was going to. They put on our board or announcements, all the colleges that each person got accepted to, and they said, Ryan, aren't you applying for college? I said, no. They're like, well, what are you going to do? And at the time, I had a business that I was doing really well in. I had a home and garden service business.
Okay.
And I was making really good money, more money than some of my teachers. And I had always done business. Was it easy? No. It was very difficult. And I went out and did it, learning on the way. There wasn't the internet at the time. The books were quite boring and over my head, for that matter. They were very academic. But I did understand people. And I understand the concept of people will pay for service and convenience. And if there's a product, somebody pays for it. I paid for products as a high schooler. I'm like, well, if I'm paying for it, somebody else will. So that was my path. And it was frowned upon. I was told by everybody that I'm going to fail. And there were many failures, just like if you went the college path or you went a career path or anything difficult, you're going to have failures. But a lot of people take failure as the opposite of success. I look at it exactly the opposite. Failure is necessary for success. And unless you're willing to take that step, knowing that you're going to trip and fall, you're going to fail. A lot of people wait for perfect conditions to do something.
Yes.
Well, once I have all of the information, once I have everything is perfect, then I'll start my business. Or then I will go to college and study this degree that I really want to do in my life because I see people doing it and it just is my passion. The problem with that is perfection never comes. Specifically in business, if you had all the information, it'd be quite boring.
Yes.
The perfect situation to take the first step is now.
Yeah.
You have to say, this is what I want, and I have to take the first step. Understanding that it's going to be scary. There's going to be ups and downs and failures. I've learned to control the voice in my head that says, no, you can't do it. And I get pretty upset back at it and just say, no, shut up. Mm-hmm. And keep moving. Keep moving. And I take whatever bits of success that I do get, and then I scale them. And I get energized by that. The path less traveled looks like the easier path. In my opinion, it's the more difficult path. Yes. You end up in a life that you're not satisfied with. You end up in a career that is not fulfilling. You end up in a relationship because it's comfortable that doesn't provide any kind of growth. You have one life to live, and you need to own it. You need to have agency in your own life. You need to take control. And when you do, it's amazing the way the flowers smell and the way the sun looks. Mm-hmm. And it's amazing that the fewer relationship you have, how much better they are.
Yes. I think that's totally true. That you have to choose people in order of your goals, or in order of what circle of your surrounding want to be. So if you take care of the people that it's surrounding you, then you're gonna feel good. Not only feel good with your surroundings, but you're gonna go forward because those people are going to makes you improve in some way.
So your program to become a lawyer in America, if it goes perfectly smooth, is 1.5 years because you already have a legal degree. Mm-hmm. Where do you see yourself in 2 years? What is that goal and that drive? Where is Daniela in 2 years?
I think
And
finishing.
we're going to interview you in 2 years and see
That's great.
how,
I like that idea.
See how close we got to that goal.
I think finishing my degree, law degree in corporate and business law, the very first next step is going to be to take the bar. So if I do pass the bar, I think I can.
When you pass the bar.
When I pass the bar.
So one of the things I try to do is take all the negative adjectives.
Okay.
I still, every once in a while, catch myself say if. I hate that word.
That's a great lesson.
It's when. I try to eliminate that. So when you pass the bar.
When I pass the bar, I'll be loved to practice law in here. I think it's very interesting what I've been learning. I really love it. I really like it. And I think I'm going to be staying in here and practicing my career.
And when my podcast blows up,
of course,
we'll hire you on as our corporate attorney to make sure everything goes smoothly.
That's great. I love that.
Well, listen, Daniela, it's been an absolute pleasure. I know our audience is going to love to hear your story. It's been inspirational. A lot of young people who are stuck. I hope they see some hope that it is possible. It's possible on a grand scale.
Yes.
A lot of people here in America, they don't have to make the trip from another country to do this. So
True.
they've already answered a couple of those question marks, and all they need to do is step into the next one, and they will be on their path to a more fulfilled life. And it's possible, correct?
Correct. It is totally possible. I think if you believe it, and even if you don't have people to support you, then it's gonna be just you. But counting on you, it's what you have.
You know what I've learned is the most important opinion of what I do is my own opinion.
Sure.
In order to believe in yourself and your own opinion, you have to know who you are. You have to have taken some chances and failed. You have had to learn from those mistakes and keep going. And your opinion will become so important, the most important opinion when it comes to your success. Others, there'll be some people that their opinions are important, but if they supersede what you believe in your own mind is the right direction because of experience, because of wisdom, because of intelligence, because of education, you need to have confidence in yourself to keep moving forward when everyone else is saying you can't.
Definitely.
Well, Daniela, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
I really appreciate this, and I will hold you to another interview in a couple years.
Of
I know
course.
that the audience wants to see where you're at, and those that think you're not going to make it, you can prove them wrong.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
You've been listening to Real People, Real Life. Our passion is to have real conversations with real people who've made it. Real people who've made it, who did it on their own terms. We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, catch us on Twitter or X at RPRL Podcast and on YouTube at Real People, Real